Hello and welcome to this channel. My name is Emma and this is a knitting podcast where I share with you my knitting projects, my knitting plans and everything around knitting. Today I have a lot of things that I want to show you and share with you. So I've got a few finished objects, a few works in progress, but I also have some plans and today I wanted to talk to you about some kind of fixing, things that are not going well with older projects. So I've got a few finished objects that I can't really wear because there's some problem with them, so I have to fix them. And so I wanted to share how I plan to do that. I wanted to share that with you. Because I'm not planning on doing everything like right now, so I wanted to share that with you. So the first finished object that I have is the one that I'm wearing here, and this is the Raka sweater by Yarn Flakes, Audrey Borrego, and this is a sweater that I test knitted for her. We still have, I think, 2 weeks, if I'm not mistaken, around 2 weeks to finish it. It was a long test knit, so it was really comfortable because I had some time to start the project, to do the swatch correctly, and then take my time to do it and to finish it. I haven't blocked it, but I wanted to show it to you, so I couldn't block it, otherwise it would have still been wet. So it still needs some blocking, but I have some time to block it, and I'm gonna show it to you. So, as you can see, there's still since it hasn't been blocked, we can still see the bottom of the ribbing that's going a little bit up, like here. It rolls up, but it's gonna be fine after blocking, and also with the color. Here, this part here is rolling inside a little bit, so it's gonna be better also with blocking, so I still have to do that. But yeah, other than that, it fits well. So for this I used Drop Sky for the yarn. It's this one. And the colorway is 12. And it's a blend of 74% alpaca, 18% polyamide, and 8% wool. And it's like a Chenet yarn. I still have, yes. This is the yarn here. And I think you can see it pretty well. That it's like a Chenet yarn, so I think that's why there is some polyamide in it. But yeah, it's really soft. Since it's mainly alpaca, I don't know how it's gonna hold and wear. Like, is it gonna? It's quite. It's not really heavy, so I don't think it's gonna be. How do I say that? Like, it's not gonna, the weight is not gonna pull it down, so it's not gonna grow in length when I'm wearing it. So I think I'm quite confident in that. So I think it's gonna be okay. But yeah, it's really soft. I'll see. I have been wearing it a few times now, and I don't think there's any peeling at the moment. So I'll see that later. the construction is quite interesting. I've already talked about it in my last episode, but let's start. It's a top-down sweater with a Henley neck, and so it's a top-down sweater. We start with the back and the front, and then we do the Henley neck and the collar. Which way around? We do the Henley neck and then the collar, yes. And then we go down and then we do the sleeves. I did a few modifications. So the first one, that's more of a detail, is that there are some cables around the neck here, and I didn't do that. And there are also some small cables here at the top of the ribbing, and I didn't do them either. And the second modification that I did, which was a more obvious one at the beginning, because when Audrey started the test knit, and in her sample the sleeves are really big, and they're really oversized, and the armhole depth is bigger. And so what I did was that I modified it to have the increase to increase faster here, so I could have smaller sleeves, because I didn't want them to be so oversized. Those are satin sleeves, so the construction is quite interesting. And so but then with the fitting in the test knit, she modified it a little bit to have the sleeves not as big as the ones that she has. So I think it's going to be quite interesting to see the different projects of the people who test knitted for her, because we're going to see a lot of different shapes, not shapes, but the sleeves are going to be a bit different on each of us, so it's going to be interesting. And we do have some short rows for the sleeve cap, and that makes it a really comfortable fit, I think. So yeah, and I followed the decreases of the pattern for the sleeves, so I did as many decreases as what was written in the pattern. That means that my sleeves are a lot more fitted, and especially in the forearm, and so that's why you see it like this. I'm thinking about when I'm gonna be blocking them, about because it's very elastic, so maybe I'm gonna try to open them a little bit so they're a bit less fitted. I'll see how it goes, and I don't know if it's gonna stay or not this way even after blocking, so I'll see that. And also the last modification, so in the pattern, in her sample, she's not knitting this little part here, so there's the neck here and then the collar starts here, but she has explanations in the pattern to modify it and to close the collar. So yeah, and I think my buttons are a little small, so they don't stay in place correctly, so I might have to put some bigger ones, but I'll see. At the moment I really like it like that, and I really like the fitting of it. It's perfect. And yeah, what else? I think that's it for this one. I stopped test knitting for a while, because at some point it was a bit stressing to finish with the deadline, and sometimes the deadlines were a little bit short, and so for this one I thought that it was really comfortable. I finished before the end of the deadline, and we only had to knit the body and one sleeve and the collar, but we didn't have to finish both sleeves for the end of the test knit. But since I knit both sleeves and then finished the body, I still wanted to finish it for the end of the test knit. Oh, and also what I did, because since it was a test knit and that I was finishing with the body, it felt like I wasn't making any progress at some point, because every time I was knitting on it, I was like, oh, I can't see any progress. So I started putting some progress keeper on the side every time I was knitting on it, and I kind of calculated how many hours left of knitting I had to do to finish it, and I realized it wasn't that much. It was just a few hours, I think, and so I put some progress keepers. I'm gonna put a picture, because that really kept me going, thinking, oh, I don't have much left to do. And I think in a few days I finished it, because it was really like a small part left to do, and I think it was quite quick too to knit this one. But yeah, since I really wanted to finish it on time, to have time to block it, to take some nice photos too, yeah, I wanted to ensure that I could finish it not right on the deadline, but before. And I didn't want to stress me out with this deadline, so that's what I did, and it was quite nice. It was the same that I did with my mom's sleepover, when I knew that I was going to see her, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 weeks later, and I wanted to finish it by then. So I did the same. I calculated not how many hours, but how many rows I needed to knit until I finished it, and yeah, so that works quite well for me when I kind of have a deadline. The second finished object I talked to you about it in the last podcast, because I wanted to cast it on, but I hadn't, and now it's finished. But it's a vest. It was not that long to knit. So this is the Burgos vest from Rosa Pomar, and I knit it in terroir laine in the colorway Tourbe, which is a dicky weight yarn. It's 266 meters per 100 grams, but it's a woolen spun, so it blows really well. Here it is, and you can see it. I loved knitting with this yarn. This is undyed, and it's 100% French sheep, so yeah, I think it's quite nice to knit with this one. And once knitted and blocked, you can see it's really nice. It's really light, and I love the fabric that it made. So yeah, I'm gonna put it on just to show you how it looks like, because I haven't, there are some buttons, and I haven't put them on yet, so it's a little bit weird, I think, on top of this jumper, but it's just to show you. So, as you can see, it's quite oversized. Oh, what I didn't say, I need the size 2 for the Huraca jumper, and which was nice to have the option to either have something more fitted or something a bit more oversized, and I don't always have the option, since I often have to knit the first size. And I'm thinking about that because for the Burgos vest, it was really hard for me to choose a size. So I wanted to have it a bit oversized. I didn't want it to be too fitted. And the photo of the designer, the sample that she knit, is really, really oversized. And she wears it, in the photo, she wears it without anything underneath. So that's not how I'm gonna wear it at all. So it was really hard to choose because there were some that were really fitted and that were beautiful, and some that were a bit more oversized, but I don't know, it was really hard to choose. So I thought, I'm gonna knit the second size to have it a bit more oversized. If I had knit the first size, it would have been okay, like I would have been in the range of the ease that's recommended too. But yeah, and I think it's nice like this. And I think it's gonna be really different once I put the buttons on. So yeah, at the moment I haven't been able to wear it because I don't know, I think it's a little bit weird without the buttons, and maybe having it open is a little bit weird. I don't know. I just have to find the buttons. Although don't think I'm gonna find them because I went through my stash of buttons and I couldn't find any that I liked with it. So I think I'm gonna make them in ceramics. I'm just quite I'm quite unsure about the color that I want them to have. I was thinking white could be a bit too like flashy with this dark brown. I didn't want them to be brown either. I think maybe black, but black would be a bit weird, I think. So I'm still quite unsure about the colors of the color of the buttons. So I'll have to see. But maybe I'll put some buttons until I have made the ceramic ones, because it's gonna take me like a few weeks to actually make them, put them in the oven, put the glaze on, and etc., and put them in the oven again. So yeah, maybe I'm gonna put some other buttons. I do have some some wooden ones, and I thought it was making it like a bit too rustic, I think. So at first I thought I could put some wooden ones, but yeah, it's always really hard to choose, I think, the buttons. But yeah, so this is the Burgos vest, and I was knitting it at the same time as my mom, and she's almost done too, and she's using the recommended yarn. And so if she finishes it before I put this podcast online, maybe or before I finish editing this podcast, maybe I can put a picture of hers, because I think it's really beautiful. She's using the Joao yarn with some silk mohair, and it's like this blend of green, and it has a bit of the silk mohair is a bit green with some grey in it, and the Joao, I don't know if I pronounce it right, but this is the one from Retrosaria, and it has some greens and some yellow and different colors in it. So it's more like on the green yellow part, and the silk mohair is more on the green, a bit darker, and with grey. So the blend is really beautiful. I wouldn't have chosen the two together, but since it was the one recommended in the pattern, and we had some photos, and so it's really beautiful. Anyway, so yeah, maybe I'll put a photo of hers if she sends me one, and if she finishes it before I finish editing the podcast. And that's it. Oh, I used like 140 grams, so I'm not sure what I can do with this, with 60 grams of this one, of the cake weight yarn. It's not much. I don't want to knit a hat because I don't wear hats. although I would need one, because sometimes I wear one and I don't have any. But I don't know, I don't think I want to wear this one. I don't want to make a hat out of this one. Maybe I can do some color work with it. That could be a good option. So, yes. About the construction, it's an easy one. You start with the back, you knit the back with a few short rows, not that many. Then you pick up here. So this is the English tailored sleeves. So you can see that this part here, where you pick up the sleeves for the front, it stays at the back of the shoulder. So you pick up for the front, one front, the other one, and then we join in the round. Well, not in the round, but the front and the back. And we do have some increases for the sleeves, for the shaping. And then it's straight. And it's really well explained. Everything is quite clear. So really an easy pattern. This could be easy, well, it could easily be a beginner friendly pattern. So yeah, I'm really happy about this one. And I really want to wear it because I've been wearing my Schema pullover, Schema slipover. Yeah. Oh, and almost every day now, because I feel that it's so comfortable to have slipovers. So I thought that I needed some more. So I've got this one, and I do plan on knitting a third one because I want to be able to rotate and to have different ones. So, whoopsie, the microphone fell down. Oops. Okay, so that's it for the finished objects. About the works in progress. Which one do I start with? I'm going to start with one that you've already seen a few times now, but I have done a lot of progress on it. This is the petit by Florence Miller, and I'm knitting it with the pure silk from Knitting for Olive, and I do have a tag here, and the colorway is cardamom, and it's 100% silk. So with this one, maybe that last time I showed it to you, I had already split for the sleeves. I think so. I'm just continuing knitting on it, and so since like the past few days I've been knitting on it like half an hour a day or so, and so I'm putting some progress keepers here. Sorry, I don't think you can see really well. Maybe. Oopsie. And so I can see the progress that I make every day, because same as with the Uraka sweater, it was a bit hard to see the progress that I made every time I was knitting on it, because this is such a small gauge. I think it's 27 stitches per 10 centimeters, and I don't mind it. I like it, but it's just that it takes so much time that when I'm knitting for maybe half an hour, I do less than a centimeter, so I can't really see the progress. And when I see it like this, I'm like, oh, I made all this, so it's quite nice to see it. And yeah, the only thing is, since the yarn is a bit splitty, it's hard for me to look at something else while I'm knitting on it. So I can't, for example, I can't read at all when I'm knitting this, because it's too splitty and I'm scared I'm gonna take only one of the different strands out of it. So yeah, but I really like it. I can't remember if I think I'm knitting the smallest size on this one, the first one, and those are saddle shoulders here on top, and then raglan. And I only have, this is my second ball, and I only have 3. Those are short sleeves, but I think I'm gonna knit the sleeves and then continue for the body until I run out of yarn. The modification that I made is that this is supposed to be a ribbed collar, but I didn't like it, so I changed to have it folded and sewed. And I'm gonna do the same for the sleeves, although I think it's gonna take a bit more yarn, and I'm gonna do the same at the bottom. I calculated, like I tried it on, it's nice, it's really cropped at the moment, so I put another stitch marker here, because at this point I calculated that I wanted around 13 centimeters more. So what I'm gonna do is, I think either I play in yarn chicken and I'll see how it goes, but I'm not too keen on that, or I can also measure, like weigh the yarn, see how much I can do, like how many rows I can knit with this amount of yarn, and then see if I'm gonna have enough to make the 13 centimeters. I think it should be okay, I'm not sure, since I still have the sleeves to do. And that's also gonna help me, see when I have to stop, because, and do the not the ribbing, the bottom of it, like because it's gonna be, I have to knit this amount, like how many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 rows that I need to knit, and the purl row too, so 9 in total, plus the bind off. So I have to keep enough yarn to do that at the end, and I don't want to be left with too much yarn if it's already a bit cropped. So that's gonna help me to do that. I think that's it for this one. Oh, and one thing, because with the modification, I don't know if it's with the modification that I made, if it's the yarn or what, but here it's not really nice, this part here. And when I'm wearing it, it gets better. So I'm really hoping that with blocking, it's gonna be perfectly flat. But I'll see. And I'm really liking this project. And I'm gonna be really glad to be able to wear it once I finish it. So that's it for the first work in progress. For the second one that you've already seen too. Oof. Maybe you recognize this if you've watched the last podcast, but those are socks for my partner. This is the 5th time that I'm knitting this sock because it didn't fit him. So I started. It started with my socks that I knitted for me, and exactly the same, with the same yarn, with the top white part and then the contrasting color, then some ribbing, exactly the same. And he loved them, so he asked me to knit exactly the same for him. So that's what I started. When I was knitting, I already knit him some socks. The first ones were a little bit too big, but he wears them inside. And then the second ones were perfect. And I did knit them with 60 stitches. But I think that I might have knit them with 2.5mm needles. I can't remember. Anyway, it was perfect. So what did I do with these ones? I cast on 60 stitches. I did everything. I did the heel flap, started the gusset. It was too small for him. So I frogged it until the beginning of the heel, made the heel a little bit longer. He tried them on again, it was too small. Frogged it, started with 64 stitches, started it again until almost the heel, too small for him. Started it again with 62 stitches. I thought, okay, I'm gonna go way bigger. 62 stitches is kind of like an average for his size. It was too big. But this time I went only to here, like I did all the ribbing and then started a bit of the leg. I had him tried it on and it was too big, so frogged it again and started again with 68 stitches. And what I did, so he could pass his foot really easily through the cast on stitches, is that I cast on with 2.2mm needles just for the cast on, and then started knitting the ribbing with 1.5mm needles, which is what I use for socks. And this is really stretchy. Like it's like he can easily pass his foot in it, and it's perfect. The size is good on his leg. So that's what I did. Finally found the right number of stitches, and also I think that really helps to have the cast on with 2mm needles. So I have to keep that in mind for the future, because he loves knitted socks and he wants more. So yeah, he was really excited when I started them again. So I did in total 20 rounds of the ribbing, and then I'm doing 60 rounds for the leg, and then I'm gonna start the heel because he wanted them quite long. I think I'm around 55, so I still have like maybe 5 rounds to go, and then I can start the heel. So I'm really happy about that. And I'm really happy because I think he's really knit worthy, and so I really want to knit him more socks because he really likes them, and every time he's wearing his knitted socks, he shows them to me and he's like, look, I'm wearing your socks. So, and he's really happy about it. So yeah, I think he's gonna be wearing them quite a lot. And I didn't say, but I knitted half twisted rib for the cuff, and then I'm knitting 3x1 ribbing for the leg, so it's nice and snug. And I'm knitting it with Mondim from Retorsaria, and I can't remember the colorway, but I have it here. It's 400. It's this yarn. Oops. I bought some more because I wasn't gonna have enough for his pair of socks plus mine with 100 grams, even though I'm knitting with contrasting yarn for the toes and the heel. And I also wanted to make one pair for my toddler, exactly the same as us. So we're gonna have the same socks for the whole family. I thought it would be cute. So that's it for this one. I'm really happy I finally found the right number of stitches, so I can finish them. What else do I have? I'm gonna have a look on my note. I think that's it for the works in progress that are in the making. Like, I still have my sumac pullover, but I haven't worked on it since the last podcast, so I'm not gonna show it to you. And I still have my bellisty, but same, I didn't work on it since the last time. I'm looking around to see if I didn't forget. Oh yeah, I do have one last work in progress. And here it is. It's one that I have been wanting to start for quite a while, and those are the double tuffler, I have no idea how to pronounce it, my son is gone. Here they are, those are some slippers. So they look really big at the moment because they are not felted yet. But this is the first one, and I'm knitting the second one here. So this is just the beginning of the second one here. So those are double folded slippers. Here. And you start here, you knit this part here, then you separate to make one foot, then you take the stitches and make the second foot. And I still have to sew the, like, in between here, but it doesn't say anything in the pattern about that. So it says to sew the top here, but nothing about this one. Maybe I misread it, I don't know, but I didn't see anything. Anyway, so the only modification that I made is that you're supposed to start here, start knitting in the round, and then sew at the end. So I did a Judy's Magic cast on, so I didn't have to sew anything. And the only thing that changed is that instead of doing the decreases here, I had to make them here. Like, I had to separate, instead of separating at the end like this, I separated in the middle because of this cast on. Otherwise I wouldn't have been able to put it inside. So yeah. And oh, the second modification that I did is that for the second leg, maybe you, yeah, I think you can see it. This is the second one. It's a little bit shorter, not the second leg, the second foot. I knit 2 more rows on the first one, or 2 less on the second than in the pattern, so it could fit well inside the first one, and so it wouldn't wrinkle and have more fabric because it had the same size. So that's what I did. And then you put it inside, you fold it here, you fold it like this, and then here you go and you put it inside, and here you have a slipper. And I've been wanting to make those for at least 2 years, like, it has been a really long time when the pattern wasn't available in English, and so I kind of left it aside thinking, oh, I'm gonna do it a bit later, and I finally started it, and now the pattern is available in English, so it's way easier too. I'm knitting the size 36-37, so I'm hoping it's gonna be good. I'm a really small 36, so I hope it's not gonna be too big. And the yarn that I'm using is I wrote it, I have to look because it's not it's not the one recommended in the pattern, because I went to my local yarn store and she didn't have, I know she doesn't carry any of the Sanders Garn yarns, so I knew she wouldn't have it, but I'm knitting it with Drops Nipple. I have to look because I have 4 balls, but they didn't have any tag on it. So yeah, I used 80 grams for the first one. So if I knit the 2 exactly the same, I should be using 160 grams, so the 4 balls. And this is, I think, 60% wool and 40% alpaca, or the other way around, but there's almost half of alpaca in it. And I don't know if you can see, but the color of this yarn, I find it so beautiful. I went to my local yarn store thinking that I wanted to make them in like this dark gray, like charcoal, and she didn't have any. The only yarn that was available to for this project that was the right size and that was gonna felt was this one. So that limited my options too with the colors. She didn't have any dark gray, so I looked around and I saw this one and I was like, oh, it looks quite nice. It's not really a plain color, so it's nice. And it's only when I got outside of the store and looked at it when I came home that I realized how much, like, it has some greens and some yellows and a bit of blue too. I don't know if you can see it better once it's knit, or yeah, I think you can really see well the different colors in it, so I really love it. I'm really glad that I chose this color. I think it's really beautiful. And when I was knitting it, I was thinking that my mom really likes green, and so I was thinking of making a pair for her with this same color because it's really beautiful. And I started knitting that because in September, when my son is gonna go to school, he's gonna need slippers. So he has some slippers here. He has a pair at home, but he's gonna need a second pair. So he's got a pair of felted slippers, of felted wool slippers. And it's really nice, but I thought that if he needed a second pair, then I might as well make it for him. So I thought that I was gonna try doing that for me before I was going to do it for him, because I don't know, the whole felting process is new to me, so I wanted to try something for me before and for him, especially for slippers. I wanted them to fit properly on him and on his feet so he would be comfortable wearing them. So that's why I started, and it's quite a fast project, but yeah. And I haven't felted the first one because I want to do the two together to ensure that it's exactly the same. So I'm really happy about that. I was really excited to start them. So that's it for this project, and I think that's it for my works in progress. Let me check. Oh, yes, I had the world's simplest mittens that I started for my son when it was getting really, really cold. I made one, it was too small, so I stopped. it was really hard to I did the toddler size, and I don't know why it was too small, because I did exactly what was written in the button. I even made it a bit longer. So I have to see that he's not really needing them anymore at the moment. So I'm thinking that maybe it will be for next winter. So I have time to do the next size, or like see how I have to knit it. And I don't know where I put it, so I'm not going to show it to you today. So yeah, that's it for the finished objects. Now I do have some plans and some acquisitions to show you, and also talk to you about the fixing that I want to do. So I don't know, what should I start with? Maybe I can start with my plans, because I have the yarns here. So I wanted to do, as I said, another slipover or another vest, and because I really like wearing them. I think that it fits my way of living, I think, if I can say that, because I love being able to have some different layers, so I can take off some stuff and put more jumpers on if I'm too cold, because when I'm running around maybe I'll be a little bit too warm, so I have to take off one layer, and then if I'm sitting I'm gonna be a bit colder, so I have to put more clothes on. And I realized that by wearing a lot my Maelstrom jacket from Osetta, since it's really oversized, I could put it on top of another jumper, which was really nice. And so with this slipover that I made in December, I realized also that I had been wearing it on top of a shirt, and then I could put a jumper on, and then my Maelstrom jacket on top of all of them if I was really cold. So that was really nice. So that's why I wanted to make another one. And so I plan on making the cameo vest from Orlan Such. She's tête beige. I'm looking at my notes. And I made some swatch because I wanted to knit it in Gilliatt from Derrerum Natura. But the colorway that I wanted to knit it with is in production, so it's not available yet. It's like a cream color. I think it's Poivre Blanc, the colorway that I liked. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna knit it with something else, and I looked in my stash and realized that I had the Pruska. From Retrosaria, and I made a swatch with it. I made a really small swatch. Here it is. And I gave the gauge with it. So I thought that it was perfect. I knitted with this because I wanted to knit it with this yarn, but not this colorway. So I've got a sweater quantity of this one, so I'm gonna keep it for that, because otherwise if I'm knitting a slipover or vest with it, I'm gonna have too much that is left and that I won't know what to do with it. And also I wanted to make it in a like white cream color. So I looked at it. This is the colorway C, so this is undyed, and there are two other colorways that are undyed, the A and B, and I can find the B in France, in yarn stores and stuff. I can buy it online, but not the A. I don't know why. The B seems to be a little bit too dark for what I want. It seems to be like a dark beige, and the A a light beige. I'm not sure, because when I look at photos on Ravelry on projects that that have already been knitted, sometimes it seems really white, so I'm not sure. And so yeah, I'm not sure about the colorway, and since I'm going to go to Lisbon in a few weeks, I'm gonna be able to look at it and see it in real, not on a screen. So it's gonna be easier to choose. I hope they're gonna have both colorways A and B in the store. I'll see. But that's what I'm planning to do, and that's why I made the swatch, so I'm sure that I can buy the right quantity for this project. Exactly. So that's one project that I'm gonna start as soon as I have the yarn, so in a few weeks. And the second one that I have in mind and that I want to start soon is the Stockbridge by Isolda Tig, which is a cardigan, really basic cardigan. It has, I think, satin sleeves or something like it, and it's a fingering white yarn cardigan. And so I have one that I wear quite a lot, but it's store-bought, and it's not made of wool, it's made of viscose, I think, viscose and cotton, a blend of them, of the two. And I wanted to have one with wool, of course. And so I wanted to make one. I'm wearing it, it's a black one, but I didn't mind if it was a bit in a different color. I still wanted it to be neutral because I wear it a lot when I'm wearing something that has like I have to have something a bit fitted, like my cardigan is a bit fitted, so I wanted to have exactly the same. So I'm planning on knitting it with this one, this yarn. Here is the tag. This is Maison Septembre. She's a French indie dyer. She's dyeing yarn. She's botanically dyeing her yarns, but this isn't dyed. I've already shown you some of her yarns because I knitted my escamote pullover, slipover, sorry, with her yarn, also undyed. But as you can see, I really like undyed yarn. So yeah, and I really liked this Tweedy yarn here. So yeah, I've got 3 skeins of this one, and this is 400 meters per 100 grams. So it's gonna be quite enough, a lot more than needed, but I think I needed a bit more than 2 skeins maybe. I'm not sure. I haven't looked at the sizes or anything. I just know I want to make this pattern with this yarn. So I have to put it into a cake and then I can start knitting. And this is quite interesting because this is 75% merino wool. So I'm not used to knitting with merino, but this is merino wool, and 25% silk. So it should be really, really nice to wear. So this is one of my next projects too that I want to start soon. I'm not going to talk to you about other projects that I have in mind. I do have a queue in Ravelry, and I know I have them in mind, but I'm not sure when I'm going to start them, and I'm not in a rush, but those two I really want to knit them. So those are going to be the next ones. And after that, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about some of the plans. Oh, do I start with the fixing? No, with the plans, because it goes with it. So since I had all those works in progress, I had some works in progress that I wasn't working on anymore, like the ballisti, because it was too cropped and there was something wrong with it, and the sumac pullover either, because I didn't have enough yarn that was dyed. So things like that. And I also had some finished objects that needed fixing. So I thought I was going to make some plans to organize a bit everything and ensure that I'm not overwhelmed by everything, but that I still progress in what I do. And so I did some February goals and March goals. I didn't want to go further because who knows what I'm going to want to do at the end of March. But for February, for this month and the next month, I thought it could be interesting to have some goals and see how it goes. I didn't want to make too many. It was just some things that I wanted to make. But yeah, so to tell you what I had in mind for February. I wanted to finish the Uraka sweater, this one, which I already did. I wanted to finish the Burgos vest, which I did already. I wanted to restart the socks for my partner. They are here. So I did that. So I'm quite glad I did. And for the things that I still need to do, oh no, and I had some mending to do on a cardigan that I couldn't wear anymore because one stitch was dropping under the arm. I don't know what happened, but I couldn't wear it anymore. So it wasn't going to take long, but I couldn't get around to do that. So I had that in my February goals. I also have in my February goals putting my Billisty back on the needles, figure out what I have to do with it so I can finish it. Well, I can continue working on it. Finish it, I'm not sure because I'm not sure I'm gonna have enough yarn, but at least I can continue knitting on it. And I wanted to dye some yarn for the sumac. So I have to figure out how much yarn I have to dye for it. So I have enough, but I don't have too much. But especially I have enough because I still have, so I used the 3 first skeins and I still have 3. I know I'm not gonna have, like I haven't been using, like I'm on my 3rd skein. So I still have half of it, I think. So I don't know if I have to dye 1 more skein or a bit more. So yeah, that's my plan. And for March, I have my Starbuck pullover. The sleeves are a little bit too short. I like my sleeves to be quite like bracelet length, but for this one it's too short, so I have to lengthen them. It's a bit of work, but I still want to do it so I can wear it. And I still have to fix the zipper because, well, I haven't done it right, so it's falling apart. I want to finish the sumac pullover. I think in 2 months that could be okay. And I wanted to start the felted slippers for March. So in all this, you can see that I already started the felted slippers, but that was a goal that I had in March. And I don't mind. I just wanted to do it. So I started them because I felt like it. So I'm not against starting things that I have goals for later on. I don't mind starting them before, but I don't mind either putting things that I had in February back to March, because if I can't show them, it's okay. It's just to keep them in mind. So what I did already was that I did mend my cardigan. It was the pan cardigan by Sorin Alden that I did, I think 2 years ago. And it was just a stitch that dropped here. I had to take a crochet hook and put it back up and secure it. I did it! Maybe it took me 20 minutes just to find the crochet hook, to find the yarn, to put it back up and to secure it. And it's good to go! And I can wear it again. I haven't been wearing it for a month because of that. So I'm really happy I did that. Seeing it again reminded me that I could put some pockets. In the pattern there are some pockets, but I wasn't sure I was going to have enough yarn, so I took it out of my stash, the remaining yarn that I had for this one, and I'll see if I need some pockets or not, but I think it would be quite nice to have some pockets on this one. So yeah, not in the goals yet, but at least I can wear it again. So that was the first one, and I haven't been able to do, well, it's still the beginning of February, so I'm not in a rush for anything, but I want to dye, I haven't dyed the yarn for the sumac, and I haven't figured out what I want to do with the petit. But at least I know that I want to do that. And once I was with all this, like, I don't know, I wanted to finish things. So I just follow what I feel like doing. And so sometimes it's just casting on a lot of different projects. And if I have 10 on my needles, it's okay for me. And sometimes I feel a bit overwhelmed with what I have, and I feel the urge to actually finish some projects. So now it was the time when I felt the urge of finishing some projects. I was like, okay, I want to finish this sweater. I want to finish the Burgos vest. I want to take back what's on my needles and actually finish those projects. So that's why I want to put the petit back on my nails to finish it. And so I went back to one of my oldest whips that I had, that I started, I think, at least 5 years ago. And I wanted to look at it because I was like, okay, either I finish it or restart it, because I don't think I have the same tension now that than I had 5 years ago, or I frog it and I can use the yarn again for something else. So I took it, I have it here. Ooh, I have another one. This is the project that I had. So this is a pattern from, it's a free pattern from Drops. It's made with alpaca bouclé from Drops. And it's a basic, like, I think it's drop shoulders with the color is a bit wide. Maybe it's a shawl color. Is it called like this? I'm not sure. Anyway, I still like the color. I still really like the yarn. It's really soft. It feels really nice. And I looked at the pattern again and I was like, I still like it, I think. So I think I'm gonna frog it and restart it, because I still want to make it. Maybe I'm not gonna make it exactly the same. Maybe I'm gonna measure a bit more accurately how much positive ease I want to have, and just make a swatch and figure out how many stitches I want to have, especially since it's a drop shoulders. I think I have to see that, but yeah, I think I can figure out about like how many stitches I want to knit, so I have exactly the ease that I want. It's a bottom-up construction, so it's gonna be easy to figure it out along the way. And you can really see that it's a very old whip, because that's when I didn't have any stitch markers, and that I put some bits of wool to do it, and those were my very first needles that I had, like circular needles, and they're really not nice to work with. So that's also why I wasn't in a rush to take that out. The camera stopped because it didn't have any more battery, so I'm not sure where it stopped. But I was as I was saying, so this is some boucle yarn from Drops, alpaca boucle. I have it here. Oopsie. This is a colorway 100, and it's a blend of 80% alpaca, 15% wool, and 5% polyamide. And it's 50 grams for 140 meters. I lost the microphone. Anyway, so I'm gonna start again. I'm gonna make a swatch. I'm gonna see how much positive ease I want and figure out the number of stitches that I want. And I think I'm gonna follow the pattern and only for the collar and see. And for the rest, I think I'm gonna make my own, so it fits exactly as I want. So, as you saw, it's not even in my February or my March goal, but I just took it out and just felt like I like this yarn, I want to work with it, so I should be using it. And I have it and I still want to wear something like this, so I thought that it was a nice thing to do. Rather than starting again another new project with new yarn. So yeah, and so the last one that I want to fix also is like those socks. Those are the intersection socks by Marcel & Smith from 52 Weeks of Socks from Liner Magazine. I haven't blocked them yet since I finished them. I think they're really beautiful. I really like them. But the bind off is not stretchy enough, so it's a bit hard to pass my foot through it, through both of them actually. For the first one I did a tubular bind off, but since it was 2x2 ribbing, I had to do this last row to put it to 1x1 ribbing, and I don't know, the bind off is not nice, it's not stretchy enough, so I'm thinking maybe about like ripping it back, putting the stitches on hold, restarting the ribbing with a cast on, and then doing a sewing, like how is it called? I can't remember, where you use a needle and you create the stitches in between. I'm thinking about doing that because I want to wear them, but at the moment they're not really comfortable to wear. So yeah, that's another thing that I have in mind. I'm not in a rush to do it, I just want to do it to be able to wear them. So yeah, that's another project. And I wanted to show you a few acquisitions too. So where do I start? I think I'm gonna start with sock yarns because I really loved working with the Mondim, which is here, and I love wearing my socks. They're so comfortable. So I bought some more. I bought 3 skeins. The first one is kind of the same as this one, but only with the brown, not the white yarn twisted in it. And this is the colorway 300. And then I bought this one that I absolutely love. And this is the colorway 209. And I think it's gonna be so beautiful. And the last one is this like rust color. It's looking a lot more orange on the screen than what it really is. It's the colorway 302. maybe I can try, if it's too orange, maybe I can try to take a photo and put it on the screen so you can have the real color. But I absolutely love it. So those are some sock yarns. I also bought some other fibers than wool. So I bought some more pure silk from Knitting for Olive, this one, and this is the colorway Petit. It's a light gray, between white and light gray, and I wanted to make another shirt with it, either like a tank top or a shirt. Maybe sleeveless would be nice. And I only have 3 balls, so I think sleeveless could be nice. But I haven't found a pattern that I like for this, because I do want to have maybe, I think, a v-neck and sleeveless, but I don't want to have a I-cord because it's too small, it's too thin. I want to have at least, I don't know, at least this size of a strap. So I might have to make my own pattern, because the ones that I found that I liked were for DK weight yarn, and this is fingering weight yarn, so I'll see. And then I also bought some linen yarn. It's called Linae from Natisea, and this is the colorway Café Latte. And this is 95% linen and 5% cotton, so it should be really nice. It's like 190 meters for 100 grams, so it's like a DK weight yarn, but I think that I'm gonna have to knit it on a smaller gauge than DK weight wool, because it's not gonna take this as much space, so I'm not sure. I have to make some swatches to see the fabric that I like. As you can see here, I don't know, I'm gonna see. Maybe I have to knit it on a tighter gauge than if it was wool, so I'm gonna make some swatches, see the fabric that I like, and then find a pattern to go with it. And I have 3 skeins. Maybe that's not enough to make a t-shirt, and maybe I'm gonna have to make a tank top too. I'll see. But for the summer it's gonna be quite nice, and I like that the fact that I can put different layers on, because for the tees that I'm making, for example, with silk, I can wear it in winter, in summer, all year long. And even if I make a tank top, I just can put a jumper on and I can wear it in winter too. So I like this. And this is a new yarn. I haven't tried it yet, so I'm quite excited to try it. And then I also have 3 more yarns. So I've got those 2 here. This is Terroir Laine, so it's the same as the one that I used here for the Burgos vest. I bought the 3 at the same time at a yarn festival. And this one is a DK weight yarn, but it blooms quite well. So as I said, it's 266 meters per 100 grams, but I used it for the Burgos vest. The gauge was 16.5 stitches per 10 centimeters. It was hard to say. Anyway, so it's quite a loose gauge, and I like the fabric that it makes. So maybe a 19 stitches gauge is gonna be good too. So yeah, it's quite versatile, and I can knit quite a large gauge with it. But I think it's gonna be too stiff if I'm making like a 21 or 22 stitches gauge. And I think I have 3 of them, so it's not quite enough to make like an oversized jumper, but it's too much to make a slipover, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this one, but I loved it. I don't know why I took 3. I mean, 2 would have been enough for a slipover, but 4 would have been good for a jumper, so why did I take just like an in between? Yeah, so I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with it. And for this one, so this is the colorway Châtaigne, and this is a fingering white yarn. Do I have 2? I think I have 2 of them, and so it's 400 meters per 100 grams, and I absolutely love them. So yeah, I don't have any projects for those 2 yet, but I'll see. And then the last one that I have is some silk mohair. And this is a silk mohair from La Ferme d'Amalté, which is a French farm. They have their goats, and so I thought that it was really nice to try this yarn. I've got 2 of them, so I'm not sure what I want to do with them. I won't save. I bought some beige because I knew that I was going to be able to use it, because, well, as you can see, I'm not so much a color fan. Like I've got this blue one, but the rest of it is just gray, beige, more gray, more beige. Oh, I've got the rust color for my socks. Woohoo! But yeah, I like it. It's what makes me happy, so I continue knitting with those colors. But anyway, yeah, it's a little bit, I'm not sure if it's thinner, but it's it's 250 meters per 25 grams. So I have more yardage than usual silk mohair yarns, and also it's a bit different because it's 60% mohair and 40% silk. So I have to swatch with it to see, but yeah, I'm not sure. I think 2 is not quite enough to make a whole jumper, but it's too much to make a slipover. A bit like this one. But yeah, it was a lot more expensive than other silk mohair yarns, so I thought I'm only buying 2 since I don't have a project in mind, which maybe wasn't the right choice since I'm not sure what I can do with it now. But I can still buy another one if I feel like I want to make a project and that I need a 3rd one. So I know where to find them, I can buy them online, so it's okay. So yeah, quite excited to try this one. It's really, really soft. It doesn't feel prickly at all, really not. Like I can have it around my neck like this. I tried to hold it like this for a few minutes and it's really, really nice. So yeah. So I think that's it. I think it's gonna be quite a long episode. I'm sorry about that, and I hope you still enjoyed it. But that's, I don't know, I thought it would be nice to share with you the way I organize my knitting in the future, and yeah, and be a bit different, like with the fixing too. I keep dropping the mic. Sorry. But yeah, I think that sometimes a bit of organizing also around my knitting is quite nice, and maybe you're gonna be inspired with that too, with maybe like monthly goals, and to take some older project that didn't really work or that needs some fixing, and maybe that inspires you to do something a bit similar. I don't know, I thought it was interesting to share that with you too. So I hope that you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you soon. Bye!